Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today. My name is Kristen Modulewski. I'm the Senior Digital Marketing Specialist here at Clark Reliance. And with me today I have Andy Teske. He's our Jerguson Glass and Valve Product Line Manager. We're here to talk to you today about low emissions, specifically low emissions valves. We've had tons of questions come into us from the field. You asked and now we're going to answer. First, let's just talk simply. The EPA, they continue to monitor the fugitive emissions from valves, resulting in the need to have LE valves on new and retrofit installations. And low emissions valves can contribute to many benefits, such as reducing product losses, increasing safety for facility workers and operators, decreasing exposure for the surrounding community, as well as potentially reducing your emissions fees and avoiding enforcement actions. So like I said, I'm here with Andy, and he's going to be answering your questions today. First off, hey Andy.
Hi Kristen, how are you?
Good. I'm doing good today. We'll start you off with an easy one, all right?
Sounds good.
When we say low emissions valves, what exactly does that mean?
That's a good question. This is a Jerguson 76L series valve. A gauge cock valve will blow up preventer safety Ballcheck. It has a lot of names. Essentially, this valve is mounted above and below a glass gauge. Obviously, I don't have that here now. But when we talk about low emissions for valves, what we're talking about is the emissions through the valve packing or through the stem packing inside the valve. We're not talking about the process connection, the gauge connections, anything like that. It's right here where the stem is and where the packing is. I can show you. It's right here in the middle. I don't know if they can see it there, but.
Well, speaking of packing, just piggybacking off that, a couple of people actually have asked this. Can you use any packing options for low emissions valves?
No, you cannot. We have all of the Jerguson valves that have low emissions. They all have graph oil packing. It's very common packing in the industry. It has a wide use of applications, pressures and temperatures and stuff like that. But additionally, with low emissions valves, to get a valve valve has to be certified for low emissions. For these traditional style valves, I believe it's API 624, and for valves like the 360 series, it is API 641. But we have to build the valve, we have to send it out to a lab, and they have to test it and certify it. And so we did that with all these valves. We did that with graph oil packing only. Again, it has a wide use of there's a wide range of uses. That's why we did it that way. And certainly, if there was enough customer demand for another style of packing, we could look at that. But sometimes the properties of the packing won't allow it to fit in the valve body and still be low emissions.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Andy. Another question we had come in frequently, actually. Do low emissions valves come with quick close threads?
That's an interesting question, and the answer kind of depends. I'll start with our 360 valve. This valve is standard as a quarter turn. Right, green is open and red is closed. It's just quarter turn. So there's no standard and quick closing threads on this one, so it doesn't apply. On, again, our 70L series valve, the 70L series valve is low emissions as a standard, whether or not you have standard packing or plain close and quick close. But quick close is an option for this one. And then on our 60L series valve, which replaces our old 60 series, the 60 LE series is always low emission, but it does not have quick closing threads. So the answer to that question kind of depends on the valve you're looking at.
All right. Well, hey, jumping off that, we had a couple of our customers ask, you mentioned the old 60 series valve. If someone has an old 60 or 70 series valve, are the dimensions the same as their low emission counterparts?
On the 60 LE series, of course replacing the old 60 series, what we call the critical dimensions from the process connection to the gauge connection where the customer would mount, those are identical dimensions. So they could swap out, they could put a 60 LE series where an existing 60 series valve exists. The LE series valve is longer on the back end towards the handle, but typically that's not an issue because the operator has to get their handle in there to manipulate the valve anyway, so there's usually open space where the handle is. On the 70L series valve, it is the exact same valve. If you have a 70 series valve that's not low emissions and you want one that it is, it's the exact same. The dimensions are the same. from the process connection to the gauge connection, as well as from the gauge connection to the end of the valve. It's an identical valve externally.
Well, hey, thanks, Andy, for all your insight today. It's been really good chatting with you.
You too. Thanks for having me.
If you would like more information on Jerguson low emission valves, visit our website, jerguson.com, or send us an email at jergusonapp@clark-reliance.com.